Wait, go ahead now.
Full start. Welcome everyone to our first ever episode of West Ham Till I Cry, the top 5 show. I will be your host for today. I'm a DC Irons, a former Toronto Hammer, and let me give you a little bit of background about myself. My name is Tarek, and I am from the beautiful Twill Island Republic of Trinidad and Tobago in the Caribbean, where I supported the mighty Hammers for my entire life. It was difficult, of course, being the only person on an island with supporters from only Champions League teams. But West Ham gave me so much happiness and identity, and now the family joining supporters clubs from all over America and in the American Hammers network is now much more like a family. So I'm really, really happy to be here, and I'm really even more privileged to be joined by two of DC Irons' very own, Kostya and Lucas, that everyone is familiar with. So how about you guys jump in and tell me a little bit about, tell everyone a little bit about yourself, and Kostya has a few things to tell you too.
Oh, sure. So welcome, everybody. I'm so excited to be here on the American Hammers Network, and this is a show that Tim, thank you to Tim for the concept of the top 5 show. Thank you to Lee and Tim for hosting this network, growing this network. I think we say that almost every show. Please do check out AmericanHammers.net, where you can get DC Irons merchandise as well as merchandise from all the supporters clubs in America and around the world. The thing that you may not know is when you buy a scarf, a dish rag, a t-shirt, whatever it is that says, let's say it says Fresno Irons on it, you're basically buying the Fresno Irons of beer because we get half of the proceeds. And that's something that I don't think we talk about enough. So go to AmericanHammers.net. It's truly a contribution to the entire West Ham community. I'm Kostya over here using his Twitter. Nope, I can't. I have no sense of direction. Lucas, okay, is using his Twitter handle, but he's also a DC Iron. His parents are Post Malone and John Lennon, and he turned out great. Tarek is someone who I have wanted to get on the American Hammers Network for such a long time. He's always been a little bit introverted about it, but I think the pandemic has turned some introverts into extroverts, and we're so lucky to have his big personality on here. This is going to be a debate show where Tarek is always right. So we've got 5 topics to discuss. It's the top 5 most prevalent West Ham topics of the week. It might be transfers, but it'll also be stadium stuff, ownership stuff, rumors of investment, what have you. All of the top 5 issues. We're committed to having the show midday on Saturdays at noon or at 1. Why is that? Well, because if you're in the UK right now, it's supper time, and you can actually watch us. A lot of our shows are at 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, and we have some incredible UK viewers who are staying up till midnight, 1 in the morning watching us. But this is a little bit more accessible for everyone. So that's what makes it exciting. And without further ado, Lucas, I don't know if you want to chip in anything. You want to say hello before Tarek begins with his first topic. And he's going to grade us out of 5 points, by the way. Each of us gets 5 points, and there'll be a winner at the end, a winner. I guess we'll keep track of the record, but really it's always going to be the 2 of us. So a bit like Pardon the Interruption. That's a little bit of the concept mix with Around the Horn. And yeah, Lucas?
You know, I'm good. They've seen enough of me. They know what I'm about. This is going to be, while Tarek was talking and you were talking, this is definitely going to be a fire and ice show. We are the complete opposite of each other.
And that's why I wanted to do this show so badly. Lucas and I have very different styles, and Tarek knows us very well. So Tarek knows how to pull our legs and egg us on and take the piss, as you say. So, Tarek, what's the first topic?
Well, we have an exciting lineup today. Over the course of these few weeks, or whenever we do the show, we want to have as many big topics currently in the news, hot West Ham talk, and that's what these 2 guys will try to hopefully bring to you. They want to be as accurate, but bring their own personalities with them. So first, topic I want to introduce, and let me introduce all five, and then we're gonna start with the first one. But Costa, if you mind sharing my
Oh, you
screen.
want me to? Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So first topic, we'll be talking about, is Mikel Antonio the now player of the month for the Premier League? I know it's
Not
hard to
voted
wrap my
by the fans, though, of
mind around.
course.
Yeah, of course. He is. Should he be our main striker next season? Then the topic after that. Oh, this one will be fun. Our two guys who know how to pull our heartstrings, Slaven Bilic and Scott Parker, both returning to the Premier League. Which one will be more successful? And we have this topic, which is a hot debate right now. Who's going to be our marquee attacking signing or player next year? New player. We have Diangana, who could definitely come in. Or do we have splash of cash and bring in Benrahma or Eze, or whatever his name is? Hopefully he's that. So yeah, let's see what the guys think about that. And then the fourth question is, what is your goal of the season? I know that's up for debate. I know I have my own right sitting in my head right now. And then lastly, Lucas Fabianski. Everyone loves him, but how long? He's getting very old, and how long can he continue his form? We saw a few blips last season, but is it time to replace him, or at least bring in a backup for him? Let's
get started.
Yeah.
So we're starting with Antonio, Tarek?
Yep. So let's start with Mikel Antonio.
You can go first.
So before that, let me just give you the background so Mikel Antonio was our player of the month for the Premier League, the only ever July player of the month. He's scored 7 games, 8 goals in July. And basically, should he be our main striker next season? He has a bad injury record, and sometimes still very rash in front of goals, but with signs of improvement. What do you guys think? Kostya, how about you go first? Tell me, do you think we could rely on Mikel Antonio to be our main striker next season?
So if we had AC Milan's facilities and their physios, absolutely. My answer would be 100% yes, because they were able to keep David Beckham and Maldini and Cafu playing well into their late 30s, and they have these innovative sports scientists and stuff. I don't even know if we have a sports scientist. I think we have 2 physios probably. I don't know, but if it's anything similar to our scouting system, it's not good enough. The key word is rely, and the question is all about the injuries, Tarek. Unfortunately, he being a player who puts 100% in every single match, that's why we love him. He's prone to getting a calf strain, a thigh muscle pulled, and it's always leg-based because he runs so hard, and those thunder thighs look like they could explode any minute, especially in the second half. I love the guy. I think he's a fantastic partner for Haller. I think clearly he proved that he can be a striker on his own. I think we're misled a little bit by the goals against Norwich. 4 of those 8 goals were against Norwich. And they were, frankly, demoralized, and so people would use that argument with me about Chicharito. Oh, 3 of his goals were against Huddersfield. Well, we can't praise one and not the other, or, consider the timing and what team we were playing when they did really well. But besides that, I love him. I watched him play in his debut year in January. That guy is the definition of what West Ham is. He's not world class, but he does have some amazing moments to him, and he tries so hard. So can we rely on him? No. Lucas?
Rely is a very strong word, especially when associating that with any West Ham player that's in form. Can we rely on him? Probably not. But could he be our main striker? I think he could, but the question is, can we rely on him? I would say no. He just plays. It's crazy. He plays way too hard to be reliable, which literally makes zero sense almost in any other sport. So, can we rely on him? No, but I do always appreciate his hardworking service for us. I wish I could differ with you, but
That makes sense. I think Antonio definitely gives his all. Antonio gives us fight. That's what West Ham fans want. Sometimes if he gives us too much fight, then he ends up pulling a hamstring, getting injured. And that's the problem. That's what we'll never know. Can Antonio, he's been given the run of games. He's been able to improve his match fitness. Therefore, he becomes better. And we've seen that over the years. And then he pulls a muscle. Either he needs to start realizing this, and hopefully over the course of next year, he maintains fitness. We don't know, but we definitely do need someone to pick up the slack for him. That could be Haller, but how does Haller fit on his own as a lone striker? Everyone talks about different systems. I don't know. That might be a debate for a different time. But Antonio himself could definitely be our main man. But for the reasons that both Kostya and Lucas said, it's really difficult to rely on him. So, 1 point each.
Okay. Out of 5?
This is the marathon, not a race.
Lucas, we have to step it up. We have to have the hot takes, as they say.
Oh, I've got a strategy coming into this.
All right, let's see.
Well, it's always, if you guys tie, hey, that's fine. We're a big family. I think the main thing is just giving us your best analysis. But also, we want to be good for the TV and the cameras, right? Okay. So next question is, again, we're welcoming 2 heroes back to the Premier League. Personally, Parker is probably my, excluding all the villains of the last season, Parker is probably my favorite West Ham player last 10, 15 years. What a guy. What a fantastic player. And hopefully he'll bring that as a manager. Now, Bilic is coming back. We all know the fairy tale season under him. So, what do you think? Who will be better, Bilic or Parker?
Who do you want to go first? I'll go first since you went first last.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Oh, this is tough because I love them both, and my Croatian pride is telling me to go Bilic, but I think Scott Parker will have the better season next year because I think West Brom might be losing a couple players that really, really helped them this year, and I think Fulham, they have a lot of players under contract, not a lot of loanees, and I think their squad is more well-rounded, and I think they have a little bit better depth than West Brom to push them over the edge and probably stay up. I think, to be honest with you, I think they might both stay up, but I think, referring to the question, I think Fulham and Scott Parker will finish higher than Slaven Bilic and West Brom.
Well, it might be a tie again here because I actually agree. I'm looking at purely how much do their ownerships group, what's their net worth. According to Wikipedia, Fulham are worth $5 billion more than West Brom. But being American, I know that the guy who owns Fulham also owns the Jacksonville Jaguars. And he might be worth $7 billion. The Jacksonville Jaguars don't really spend money on marquee players. It's also a little difficult to buy marquee players when you're in Northern Florida, but at the same time, that tells me when you consider that Fulham, the last time they were in the Premier League, they spent about £100 million. They brought in that flop who was supposed to be like Conte, Sarri. I think they spent money on Mitrovic. They had a number of players, and that did not work out. So my assumption, which could be wrong, is that Fulham are going to have a little bit more money to spend. The other thing is look, I don't know Fulham's roster from top to bottom, but I'm assuming from having watched them play and kind of gotten familiar with their players, I don't think they're losing a player like Grady Diangana going back on loan, right? We have the benefit of getting him back, but that's really going to hurt West Brom because he was so important to their season. So how are they going to replace him? I remember Bilic as a manager towards the end there. I remember that he was very, look, the guy has a big heart. I love him to death, but he kept on some of his Croatian training, no offense, Lucas, some of his training staff that were like a little bit older. And the through the grapevine, what you heard from the training is that the training was not at all rigorous and that the players were a little bit unfit. And Bilic didn't do much about that. And I think that has fitness is even more important in the Premier League when you're playing in the FA Cup, in the League Cup. You need a lot of depth. So by a hair, I'm going to go Parker. But I'm thinking they finish like 15th and 16th right next to each other. And it could even be about how well they do against each other when they play each other twice. But Parker by a smidge.
No, I agree. It's well, I agree with everything everyone said. Doesn't mean that I agree with.
I'm trying to go different. I'm trying to. I really want to argue.
I know we haven't been able to do that yet. It might come up on the signing. We'll see.
Listen, I want to see both do fantastic. It personally meant so much to me to see both Bilic when he's won and he went up, and Parker, just to see how much it meant to them. It meant so much to me because I feel so much for both of them, and I know they're both great managers. I didn't know much about Parker as a manager until that playoff final, and then I was like, wow. Everyone saw when he was on the touchline and he told Brian, he was pointing, do the cross, but he was telling him he's out of his line. Whip it in with your left, and he did that. That was absolutely fantastic. He won the match. Parker brought them in the Premier League. But when you look at the Fulham threads, apparently 3 days before the playoff final, the majority of Fulham fans, which was quite a lot, I think it was like 60 or 80%, said that they did not think Parker did a amazing job or some sort of thing like that. Basically, they didn't think he was amazing or did a great job. And a lot of people thought they lost steam in the middle of the season. But then they regained momentum after the lockdown. So it was a big shock for the majority of the institution to be back in the Premier League so quickly.
And something else to add, you don't have to add this to my argument, but also Fulham played their last 3 games, the Cardiff 2-leg, and then in the playoff final without Mitrovic, and won.
Guys, question: is this breaking news on the show? Somebody get on Twitter. Breaking news.
No, he
already signed until 2025 anyway, and Matthew's making that argument. Matthew, tell us, did you just read that on Twitter, or is that just kind of prior knowledge about
this? Is the new ex-West Ham United employee. We don't need him anymore.
We've got Matthew. But yeah, I mean, that either way, I think losing Diangana is too much for West Brom to replace.
So let's just try to wrap up this section here. So firstly, Fulham. It was pretty quick that they got into the Premier League. West Brom have been building, and with Bilic, it was the entire season. They had this plan going in. And again, we saw signs of Bilic where he was up and down, different times of the season. They were doing well, and then they lost a lot of momentum. And I don't know, next season, can he do that? I don't know. It's going to be really tough. Just a few days ago. Okay, so it's not breaking news, but let's hope Diangana does sign for us.
He certainly didn't make a YouTube video or an Instagram post about it, so maybe that's what his contract is. Period.
Yeah. So next season, who will be better, Bilic or Parker? I don't know. It's going to be really difficult. But even if Fulham has Mitrovic, and all these these players.
Mind
I
you, he
still
scored
don't.
26 goals this season. Let's just.
Yeah, but I still think they lack depth. Their defense is a little shaky. West Brom, I think, have a longer term plan. I think Charlie Austin will come in with something to prove and a lot of hungry players.
If I was the host right now, I would take a point away from you, Tarek, for that Charlie Austin comment. Don't you know he's old? Also, he doesn't have any ligaments.
He's got good hair, though.
Yeah. But
Good hair.
I still think that West Brom have been planning for this for a longer time, and the Premier League is starting back soon, and Bilic has something to prove. Therefore, I think Bilic will edge Parker in the battle of relegation, but both will stay up. Maybe, as you guys said, 15, 16 or 16, 17. But I think Bilic will be the better manager next season, or he will be more successful at least. But I hope both do well. So both of you, 0 points.
Yes. I'm telling you, marathon, not a race. I'm going to
But
get
you
there.
agreed with us. We should
I'ma
get at
get there in
least
the end.
one. No?
I agree, but
See,
let me disagree.
ladies and gentlemen, this is why I brought Tarek on. His unique mind and spin on things.
Okay, maybe
0
I should not say I
points,
agree.
come on. All right, I guess we laid eggs, Lucas.
I want to be nice. I want to be a good person. I was with the Toronto Hammers. They are all nice people, and Canadians are nice, so I have to bring that up. All right. Next question.
Saeed agreed with you, by the way. Saeed says we're wrong, so I guess that's why we get no points.
Maybe he might be wrong. Maybe I might be wrong. I don't know who he said is. We're wrong. Who's wrong?
Yeah.
But I could be wrong too. That's why this is fun. It's all about debating and I don't know, bringing new ideas to the fore. So in terms of new ideas, new signings, how about our next marquee attacking signing? Marquee attacking players haven't been really a successful thing in the past. Therefore, should we go with Benrahma, Ease, or do we stay with Ez? There's a place.
I've heard people mispronounce that name in so many ways, and I have never heard someone say ease.
Well, there's a town before Monaco. On the way to Monaco, it's called I think it's Ez. So I'm wondering, because he's English, it's called Ease.
Yeah.
So
well, he certainly would have to ease into the Premier League.
Yes, let's ease him in. I don't know how to transition from that. But yeah, guys, who consider you go for it? Diangana, do we keep the faith in him, or do we splash the cash potentially that could have gone to defensive players and get Ez or Benrahma? But stay on the topic: Ez, Benrahma, or Diangana, or some other attacking player. What do you guys think?
Lucas, you want to jump in?
No, I went.
Yeah, you're right.
Good.
Okay, so actually, this will give you some time to disagree with me and prepare your argument. Look, for me, this question rules out Diangana a little bit. I think Diangana is a winger, and to me, I think Benrahma can play on the wing and in attacking midfield, and I think that Eze is purely an attacking midfielder. So we have a winger, a hybrid, and a pure attacking midfielder. Diangana, in my view, should take Felipe Anderson's position at left mid, and then you put Anderson at attacking midfield. And that makes it so that Anderson no longer has to worry about Cresswell or whatever shit show is behind him and tracking back. Hopefully we have a new left back. That's another conversation for later. But if Anderson continues to sulk, if we get an offer from Lazio that David Sullivan can't resist at the last minute, we need someone to be able to play that role. I think we're more likely to let Lanzini leave than Anderson. I think we're also thinking about letting Yarmolenko go. And because of all of those things, because versatility, I think, in the modern game is more important, I'm going to go Benrahma. Now, at the same time, I've watched Eze highlights, and you can make anyone look good on YouTube. I did watch the entire championship final, and I felt, like many others felt, that Benrahma didn't really show up. And I've also heard comparisons to Payet, which I'll believe that when I see it. And I haven't quite seen that. Yes, okay, he's creative, but that doesn't make you Payet. Masuaku's also creative, but he doesn't have an end product. So, I'm going with Benrahma, though, for one sneaky reason that I've heard whispered. His agent is Salthouse, and we don't have a scouting infrastructure set up, and we're not going to have a scouting infrastructure set up. David Moyes is going to go to games. He's our head of football. He's the de facto head scout. We're going to get recommendations from players like Lanzini telling us to sign Montiel. I'm sure we've talked to Susek about those two players.
By the way, I hate that.
At Slavia Prague. Okay, so we're relying on our players, but primarily what we do is we have agents that we're friendly with. Salthouse being the main name that I've heard a lot about. I think Watkins is actually on his books too. I might be wrong on that one, but Benrahma definitely is. Okay, and when we had an awesome opportunity to speak with Sam Inkersol about a week ago, Sam Inkersol told us QPR can't afford Jordan Hugel's wages because when you bump up to the Premier League, your wages get doubled. So everybody and their mother wants to say, oh, well, we're in the front seat for Eze because we can give them a £4 or £5 million value along with our bid by giving them Hugel. But we're not going to pay Hugel's wages if he's not our player. That's not our MO. That Sullivan would never want to do that. So I'm thinking because of that negative, like you can't really send them Hugel. Like, as much as we want to talk about that, we could maybe send them Cullen. Cullen's on championship wages. Do they need Cullen? I don't know.
So just to keep on track, who do you want?
Because of the agent link, I would think it would be Benrahma because maybe through the agent, we can get a discount. Or maybe because we know the agent is more likely to accept Sullivan's, okay, I'll give you a £5 million agent fee, but it's going to be $500K for 10 years every year.
So how much do you think he'll cost? And how much do you think? How much do you think he'll cost?
The newspapers will say 28 to 30, and it'll really be 20 plus, incentives. More than Eze. But again, Sullivan is more concerned with payment structure. So I think he has the advantage there.
Fair point. How about you, Lucas? Who do you think?
Finally, I think we'll disagree on some. I'm choosing to disagree just so we can get some action at the end. A nice little buzzer beater. But I'm gonna go with Eze because I think we already have, and mind you, I'm going off the idea that no matter what, we're keeping Diagana. So we're gonna have him on the wing. And I'm just gonna say for the hell of it, we keep Yarmolenko. I think we already have a good depth of wingers with Anderson being there who can play out wide and in the middle if needed. But I think, and mind you, it's Benrahma, right? That's how you pronounce it.
Maybe that H is
Benrahma.
Benrahma. I think we're saying it fine. It's easier to say than Eze.
But when comparing both of them, they both are creative players, but what our team, in my opinion, lacks a lot of is direct play. We don't have enough direct players. Everyone likes to tiptoe around. And mind you, I do prefer a creative player, but we just don't have enough direct players. I think Eze is a good combination of both. While he probably could play out wide like Benrahma, I don't think he would. I don't think he would be as good out wide. I think we need Eze who is creative and direct at the same time. And we don't our attacking midfield is quite inept to making anything happen, creating goals. I don't know, I like Benrahma. We have enough creative players in our squad right now, a lot of them, but we need more directness up the middle. So I'm gonna go with Ezzy.
Wow. So two different sides. Now,
Finally,
okay, let me give you guys the stats. Firstly, so Ezzy is 22 years old. He played 37 times last year, 14 goals, 9 assists. Benrahma, he is. Oh, I thought I kept his age. I think he's 24 or 25. And he's 25 years old. Left wing. 46 games, 17 goals, 10 assists. So more goals and assists. But a little older. Diangana, he played 31 times, I think 5 times or 8 times off the bench.
Yeah.
22 years old, left wing, 8 goals, 7 assists. But he's a left winger with a left foot. So firstly, let me tell you who I choose. I'm gonna go with Diangana. Why? Okay, he's a left footer on a left side. Usually now the convention is on a wing as a winger, you want them on their so if they're on the left, you want them on the as a right footer so they can cut in and shoot. But the majority of his goals last season were on with his left foot too, and he's crossing very well. And I really like that about him. There's this he's showing that we don't need a right-footed player on the left side to score goals. But besides that, why I want Diangana is because we've spent so much money over the years. We've gone out, we've gotten Anderson, we've gotten so many players, and they've just disappointed us. I want to give Diangana an opportunity to give us hope, to give us a new method, a new way to, get behind the Academy of Football and our own players. If he doesn't do well, he's one of ours and we'll try to send him on loan or something. But I think now's the time to let him step up. And if we don't, then we're just no different from any other club. And we might continue to be in the same downward spiral that we are. That's why I think Diangana should. And honestly, when we try to think about the new Payet, I remember when he was playing with us. But those times, you guys might laugh at me, but I found he had so much. The way he moved with the ball sometimes was so reminiscent of Payet. Probably not. Probably I'm exaggerating, but he has that skill. He wants to entertain, and that's why I love. He wants to entertain us, and he is one of us, and that's amazing. And I just love to see him excel. He's 22, full of hunger. Will come up. He's proven himself in the championship, and he could do it here. I'd love to see him. So, I mean, it's tough though between him, Benrahma, Diang. So I chose Diang. Both of you guys had different players. Who how do I do this? Do I have
if
to
you
choose
wanted,
one of yours?
Okay,
if
well,
you
imagine
wanted-
that Diangana wasn't in the conversation.
Okay.
Who do you prefer out of the two signings? And then I guess the points would be based on that.
All right.
Okay.
what do you think would be better for the squad? What do you think would be better for the squad?
Well, I'd personally go with Diangana, but let me say between the two, I saw his goal or whatever. It was fantastic. But I don't know if we need another central player.
Oh my gosh.
So I'll go, and also the stats were fantastic too. So Benrahma maybe might be that player, but I don't know if he has the hunger or not, but I think he might just be the one that we go after. And I think he's from what I've seen, he's been fantastic, running the channels, cutting onto his right foot, crossing. He had a lot of hunger in that playoff final. Sometimes he was a little bit hit or miss, but I could see why he has been so hyped up. If he could make the transition to the top level, especially these foreign players, I don't know if I have as much faith in them anymore, who have not been in the league for a while. But then you could say that about many different players, and they do well. That's this whole scouting pays off. It's tough, but you know what? I think Benrahma, and I hope Benrahma does well. So Benrahma is my choice. Who chose Benrahma? It was you, Lucas. Oh, it was Costia. Oh, really? Wow.
2-1.
Oh, I thought. What's wrong with me? Okay, yeah, Benrahma.
Okay,
so 2-1, Costia. Okay, question number 4. Lucas, you could probably.
What's the point allotment? 1-0?
No, it's 2-1.
2-1.
I think.
No, I'm saying for that particular question.
1-0.
Okay.
If you guys chose Diangana, I would have given you 2, but and he dances pretty well too. So why not?
Well, he's no Antonio though.
But also probably it's Benrahma's hairstyle that maybe makes me think that we should sign him because he has such a flashy hairstyle. But his hairstyle is also cool. I'm confused. I don't know which one, but 2-1 Kostia. Sorry, Lucas. But now maybe you could tie it up. If you agree with me, this is great. If you agree with me, you win. If you don't, you lose. This is anyone's dream. But I'm not always right. Okay, goal of the season. Easy. I don't need any explanation. Who do you guys think was the goal of the season? It doesn't necessarily have to be beauty. It has to be significance. Everything, anything. However you want to judge goal of the season. Lucas, tell me, who is your goal of the season?
I'm happy we didn't discuss this because I don't think Kostia is going to go for the one I'm going for. But in terms of importance to the season, and we all know the big stain of the season, what everything is, everything's been what's the word I'm looking for? Revolved around with the restart. I'm gonna go with Yarmolenko's game winner against Chelsea at the end. I really think it wasn't flashy, but it was important, and I think that Chelsea game, that late game winner, turned our whole season around, and we ended up where we ended up, not relegated. Short and sweet.
Okay. Well,
I don't ramble as long as Kostia, so my answers are short, sweet, to the point.
It's incredibly helpful as well. The goal of the season is one I saw in person. Anderson keeps the ball. Rice outside to Snodgrass, finds Fredericks, who the first time puts in a cross, and it's Aller. And look at that confidence and swag. The man, the myth, the legend. Okay, love him.
And there's fans.
The best goal because we needed it so badly at that moment. We're only up 1-0, and it's Moyes' first game in charge. And the boys took hold. They beat Bournemouth 4-0. One goal was a penalty. One goal was deflected. That's the true beauty from that game. And the cross is whipped in perfectly, but the body control that requires, and he does it like it's nothing. He's so nonchalant about it. But the athleticism, the timing that shot requires, I was right there, and I couldn't believe my eyes. I was 30 feet away. I went nuts when I saw that. And the problem some people have with Haller is actually how he reacts to that goal. But that's what he did at Frankfurt as well. He's not Antonio. He's not going to do this, okay? He's just like a confident, maybe slightly humble player. And I love that about him, personally. Some people, it rubs them the wrong way. That goal changed the season. That goal pushed the momentum for us to go 4-0 up. And I think it changed the mentality of the team for the remainder of the year. So not just for how beautiful it is, but for how important it is. I'm going with the Haller goal to make it 2-0 against Bournemouth on January 1st or 2nd? Might have been 2nd.
Yeah, great points. Again, I agree with both of you, but does that necessarily mean that it's the goal of the season? Before I judge both of yours, let me give you probably not goal of the season that I agree with, but I just want to give a notable mention to Declan Rice's goal, third goal against Watford. When he hit that was the moment that we sealed, another year in the Premier League. And he shot that from that impossible angle. I'll tell you what, if that was De Bruyne, that would have been one of the top goals of the season, or at least nominated for goal of the month.
Probably, yeah.
Why does no one ever talk about that goal? I mean, okay, yeah, we all talk about that goal. We know it's a great goal, but why is it not elevated even higher?
The same
The
way
guy
Bruno
rips
Fernandez
it.
won player of the month by the fans.
It's crazy. And you know what? I'll tell you something. That goal, when Declan Rice scored that goal, one of my colleagues called me because he was yeah, I had to do something and I was looking at that. I started crying while he was talking to me, but I couldn't let it out. But I can't remember the last time I cried over West Ham, and I shouldn't be crying over West Ham, but it just meant so much. It just meant so much. That was it. Every single thing came in at that moment, the right time. And the way he scored that just showed me, like, you are class, Declan Rice. And that's how you show your class. Keep your team up and do it. So that was a big moment for me. But Costa, you said that Haller's goal was fantastic, and that was such an amazing goal. The way the skill, the players around him to be able to do that is fantastic, and he needs to show that more. He needs to stick himself in. Since the restart, he hasn't been doing that, and I know he was injured, but let's hope for more of that next season. We need him to stick his big body into those areas and flip and do all these. Stop it, Lucas. Stop it. And he needs to remember that his first game ever for West Ham, he almost got a scorpion kick, if you guys remember that.
Yes.
He has the agility, he has the ability, but he needs to get more involved. But in terms of the goal itself, fantastic goal.
Real quick,
especially from the cross.
You know who I compared Haller to? Take away the flashy take away the flashy skills. I see a lot of Ibrahimovic in him.
Yeah. That because you know why? I know Haller was involved in. He used to do like taekwondo or one of those martial arts growing up. That gave him the agility, or the flexibility to do those things. And I just hope he does that next season. But he needs to bring more as well.
I was just about to tell you to highlight that, Kostya.
He has a point. Matthew's on fire today.
And then, but for me, the goal of the season would be Yarmolenko's. Why? Because if we lost that, the momentum after we wouldn't have had any momentum. That was it. But just Michail Antonio said we were one down, went up, one down, and the character. I never would have expected West Ham to do it.
Hell
because
no.
West Ham does not do that in the last minute. We don't have a Fergie time. And to be able to show that fight in the last minutes against Chelsea, London derby, but also with relegation on the line, your fans need it. Yarmolenko wrote himself into West Ham folklore with that one. That was such a defining moment, but just the goal was beautiful and the hunger to run up the pitch. West Ham does not run up the pitch. They don't care to do these things. They would have held back. They would have tried to secure 1 point, but the hunger and desire of that goal and the beauty of the finish and what it meant as he spread his big, lanky Ukrainian arms into the sky. I wish the fans were there.
That.
He did
London derby under the lights. Against
what if he
Chelsea.
just would have hit a Nolan chicken dance?
Under the lights? The game was
in the night. No, it was in the night. It was
so
Yarmolenko
just lights up the room so much. I thought that the sun was out. Okay.
No, it was in the night. It was so yeah. Yarmolenko in terms of meaning, quality, that goal 3-2 against Chelsea, I'll forever remember that. And yes, I also did. I sent you guys a video that I was captured of celebrating that. It was something. I can't remember the last time I celebrated like that. I
can. It was when Yarmolenko scored against Man United. Your infamous video.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. All right. So, yeah.
Okay, hold on. We can't just say that without context. Okay. Very, very quickly. NBC's first ever
Fan Fest.
Fan Fest. There we go. The first Fan Fest was in Washington, D.C. All the DC Irons got up at like 5 in the morning or so to get in line at 6 in the morning so that we could get our spots for a game at 10 in the morning. I don't know why we got there that early, considering
No. We were 7 a.m. So we had to get there at 5.
The game was at 7?
7:30, so we had to get there at 5.
Oh, that's
so we were the early game.
Early. So we had 25 spots, and all 25 of us showed up. And supposedly the Man U fans were going to only be 25 as well. But of course, we were overrun. We were much louder than them. And they used a lot of that footage during the actual broadcast. And Tarek has been immortalized doing essentially this, like this in like slow motion. And Rebecca Lowe says, and the American Hammers are loving it. And so that would be the most used GIF in the WhatsApp by far. Is Tarek?
Yeah, we gotta show them that video.
Anyway.
Yeah, thank you for that. Now everyone knows I'm a celebrity. I wanted to keep it under wraps, but
he's absolutely a celebrity.
There you go. All right. Well, thank you for that, guys. So what are we 2-2 now?
Yeah.
2-2.
So actually, that's perfect because it's the last question.
No, wait. Why? How are we? Yeah. We are.
I was up 2-1, and then Yarmolenko won it for Lucas, and so it's 2-2.
Okay. We could do a bonus question. We did get 0
do a
points.
bonus question if it's a tie. Still, like if Tarek can't choose the winner for the next question.
Well, okay, but there might be a winner. I mean, I'm really undecided on this, and it's controversial too. That's why it's a tough one, and it's maybe harsh too. But that's the whole thing. We need to debate this. And is Fabianski in his last few years? Is he still going to be good next season? I don't know. So the question is, do we start looking for his replacement this season to bring them in to, shadow him or whatever? I mean, does the club start looking at his replacement, or do they see him still going on for a few years? Sorry about that. I don't know if I'm phrasing this properly, but
just disclaimer. I think me and Costi will have the same answer, but I'm going to try and give a better reason than him.
Okay. Well, you know what? I'm gonna, because of that.
No.
You go first.
I went first last time. I went first last time.
All right. Okay. Does that mean Costi has to go for this?
Yes.
Okay.
Pressure's on, pal.
My answer is no. He's fine. So, excuse me. At the end of coronavirus. So at the end of this season, he had a couple mistakes. He had a couple mistakes, right? A couple like Roberto Light moments, and suddenly people are concerned. But I frankly think that goalkeeper is one of the most difficult positions to come back to from an injury when you're not fresh, because, if you're injured, you can't practice those reflexes the same way. And goalkeepers, there's a reason they're making 100 saves in warm-up, 1,000 saves during the week, because they have to keep those reflexes tight and ready. Okay. And so when you're out for 4, 5, 6 months, I think you're prone to making some errors. The reason I'm saying no is because we had a 42-year-old Jussi Jääskeläinen doing perfectly well, adequate. Okay. And I would say that he was as good as many keepers in the Premier League in their mid-30s. Okay. If you asked me to choose between Darren Randolph as a backup or 42-year-old Jussi Jääskeläinen, I may choose Jääskeläinen. I think it's very, very close. Look, if we had the infrastructure where we were truly, spending like Everton or Wolves, and we had the facilities and the scouts and all that, maybe if we had the money, maybe, but I think it's not a priority position whatsoever. I don't know Fabianski's exact age. I think he's 34, 35. I think he has 3 or 4 years left in him. I think we have a couple prospects that still need another season or two on loan in League One, in the Championship, in the form of Nathan Trott. And who's the other one? Is Joseph Dieng, something like that? I'm not.
Anang with 2 A's.
Okay, so those two kids need a chance. They need a little bit more time to develop. Now, if you're at the point in 2 seasons from now where both of those kids haven't turned into anything, then absolutely, yes, you need to invest. But I think the fact that we have a backup goalkeeper that we just signed in Randolph, we have our sentimental third string in Martin, and we have Fabianski, who was Hammer of the Year 2 seasons ago. Let's not forget. Let's not forget that the season completely changed when he left. So he's more than just saves. He's also leadership. He also communicates well with the back line. I think he speaks French from his time at Arsenal, so he can talk to Ja. And obviously he speaks good English. So I think he's like a second captain almost. He's yelling, he's shouting, he's vocal. And we just have to have him on the pitch. I don't think you can replace that. There's multiple intangibles that he brings. So no, absolutely not. Just one little injury and being off form after the injury is not enough to have me concerned. And we don't have the finances to put him in the budget, a new goalkeeper in the budget anyway. We just signed one in Randolph. We recouped our money from Middlesbrough. So no, absolutely not. You have to keep him. He's not too old yet. He's a fantastic player. We have to see how our young kids do. No, not at all. We give it 2-3 more years before we even have that conversation.
Interesting.
So did you agree with me, Lucas? Because you predicted?
I thought you were gonna go the other way personally.
Wow.
But I'm not like on one side completely. I'm kind of 50-50. There's gonna be like best of both worlds in there. So do I think it's a priority? No. Do I think it is time though to look for someone who could possibly take over? Yes. Because one, Fabianski is getting old, and yes, I do know goalkeepers. Goalkeepers are like NFL quarterbacks. They could literally go till they're 40 if they wanted. But in our current situation right now, I love Darren Randolph. I love David Martin. They're also getting kind of old. Our goalkeeper room is elderly. I think we need to throw a little youth in there, and Nathan Trott is next up. And I think within the next season, and as Charlie said, Fabianski's contract's coming up, which I noted. So, I mean, who knows what could happen? There could be some dispute and negotiation. Who knows what would happen? We might have to sell him. We might not. I don't know what the future holds. But you can never start to find someone's replacement early, in my opinion. But solely just based off age. Like Trott is, I think, 20. He's either 20 or 21. And for a goalkeeper, that's like he might as well be 15, 16 when it comes to a Premier League club. But given our goalkeeper room, Randolph's getting up there in age. David Martin's already getting up there too. Fabianski being the oldest. I think Fabianski has a good 3-4 years left. I think me personally, I think he's a top 5 keeper. If you give him any of those defenses in the top 6, I think he is one of the best in the league personally. He did have a couple blunders though. Like obviously the goal against goodness. Who do we just play? It's already been so long. Someone answer me. Who did we just play?
Aston Villa?
Yes.
Okay.
That was just absolutely terrible. And there's no excuse for that. But I still think he's got 3-4 good years left based on the way goalkeepers age, and they don't fall off that quickly, in my opinion. So to answer the question, I do think it's time to find his future replacement, and I think Nathan Trott should be in line for he should battle for backup or third string, given Darren Randolph and David Martin's age.
Good points again, lads. I think Fabianski is the best keeper I've seen at West Ham since Shaka
To prove my point,
I'm just
put
kidding,
up
no.
say comment. Put it up. I want.
By the way, the reason I said Shaka is up is because I'm from Trinidad and Tobago, and Shaka played for.
With our
Ham.
goalkeepers, I think we make more than 110 years old.
Yeah, I just had that on the screen, but you were talking. I don't think you saw it.
Sorry, continue.
What? Oh, yeah. So Fabianski is a fantastic player, and last season he was our Hammer of the Year. Just such class. So you know, he had that injury. He was out, and it was a calamity for us. He came back, and then he had an injury again,
Yeah.
right? And then it was a calamity again. So it's tough because we need him. We needed him at his best, because when he's at his best, he's probably one of the best in the league, most underrated in the league too. We all know that. When he was at Swansea, I wanted him at West Ham. But I don't know if I'm prepared to see another season where, if he is injured, we rely on our backups and they are not good enough. That's why I think that we need to start looking for someone out there.
Bring the horses around. Bring them around.
Why? So okay, when Costia started talking about Jaska Lyman, I was like, that's so true, and you actually convinced me. I was actually on your side, because Jaska Lyman proved it, and he was so good, and he was fantastic at his age. But I mean, I just don't want us to be in a situation like last season. Last season was one of the most toxic seasons ever, because
but we have Randolph instead of Roberto. Sure,
Randolph
different.
But besides my striking similarities in appearance to Randolph, according to the Toronto Hammers, what I still don't know if he is. And Lucas made a good point. He's getting older, so Martinez is great, but I don't know if we could afford him or if he will want to come.
Now.
I think he'll be fantastic, actually. But again, not now. But we need to bring in somebody who's groomed under Fabianski, kind of like what's going on in Juventus with Buffon and Szczesny, and not many other top clubs where they bring in somebody to mentor under them, even like what Martinez done. Jack Butland, for example.
To be fair,
gone off the radar.
To be fair, imagine that room if Nathan Trott comes in. He would have Martin, Randolph, and Fabianski grooming him. That's great three
the
players.
Argument that I made 8 minutes ago. I didn't say we don't have any. I mentioned Trott for a reason. I said you have to have him and Josephine Niang in there. You can't send them on loan one more season, and then the season after that, that's when you bring them in. I don't think they've done enough on loan. They've been at League One teams. Now they need to make the step up to championship teams. My whole point is that we have to groom our academy prospects before we go and spend money. We have 2 kids who could potentially replace Fabianski. We don't know if they're that good yet because they're really young. They're like 19 and 20, something like that. So that was my whole argument. I wasn't saying that we don't need anyone at all. We have someone in the ring. My argument was that you don't spend money when you have those 2 kids.
No, this is my thing, though. I want to groom them in the Premier League. I don't want to groom them in the Championship.
And I don't want to.
So what about Diangana? Was that a waste of his time?
I'm not saying.
I think it's different for a goalkeeper, too. You don't really see many goalkeepers making the step up without much loan experience, at least in different leagues and stuff. I don't know if Trott's ready yet, but okay, let me throw out some names like Butland for Etheridge. These people are the Costia's volume could be
the fire and ice. I love it.
Yeah, from New York. But yeah, it's tough because listen, there's Butland and Etheridge and those guys who could come in and be somebody who pushes Fabianski a little bit. Fabianski knows that he's the best keeper in our team, and he's going to keep his spot. We need somebody to push him and also to give him some kind of motivation not to retire, and that he's just going to, after he's 36, I'm going to hang up my boots at the end of this season. It's fine. We need somebody to push. And that's why somebody cheap from the lower leagues with Premier League experience can come in and do a shift. Randolph is not going to push him. Trott's not going to push him.
Signed Randolph to a 3-year contract. He's not going anywhere, and David Martin's not going anywhere because he's a son of the club. So where is this money coming? Are we going to have 4 goalkeepers? We're going to go and buy Jack Butland from Stoke, who I think is total shit, by the way.
2-3 million, maybe
what
for someone.
What kind of message does that send to Trott and Niang? When you go buy a 4th backup goalkeeper, you're essentially telling them you're not good enough. And you're also alerting all the championship and League One clubs that they can be bought for cheap instead of loaned. It sends the wrong message to everybody, and we don't have the money to buy a fourth goal.
When was
would
the
like-
last time we brought our own academy goalkeeper?
I would like to say this real quick. My favorite quote, and I know the deal is done and the cake's been baked. I think Tarek wants to announce the winner.
Yeah, okay, whatever. I'm beating you next week, Lucas.
Well, again, my opinions are just my opinions.
We know
It could be
Tariq
anyone's
is a very
opinion.
even-handed person.
I'm sure everyone has.
As am I.
Yeah, I'm sure everyone might have chosen different winners. Like Charlie, for example, who knows so much. I used to watch you, Charlie, on Hammer's chat with you, Gio, and Gonzo. My dad watches you guys so much too. So I was like, hey, I agree with Charlie more than anyone. So probably Charlie could be a really good host one day. But yeah, at least from this host, the winner is Lucas, 3-2. But Kostiet was fantastic in your own volume.
Volume doesn't win.
Well,
Volume doesn't win.
You'll notice that my volume only started to go up towards the end there when I thought the loss was coming. I was reserved.
But you both are winners, and we are all winners because we support West Ham.
So, cup of coffee,
Probably.
bagel with Philadelphia cream cheese. Also, for clarity, I am not from New York. I am from Massachusetts. Thank you very much.
I don't know if that's worse or better.
Oh, well, depends what sport.
Well, this was fun, guys. The first ever one, and I mean, we could only get better in terms of the show, the content. You guys were great. You guys are professionals.
No, you were great.
You were amazing.
We are all
That
great.
was Tariq's debut, and it was
Thank
Freddie
you.
Spears-esque.
But he didn't go far later on. Except for
Let's get a highlight in the chat
I
for
didn't
Tarek's dad.
say the rest of your career. I said it.
Let's get a highlight. Let's get a highlight for Tarek's dad. Let's get a highlight.
Shout out to Tarek's dad. Also, before we log off, first off, we made it perfectly at an hour-long show. Nobody wants to watch us for more than an hour. I want to give a shout out to Swaby, Skippin, Adam, Patty. I'm gonna forget to Charlie,
Cara,
Kenny, Cara, of course, Sammy,
Dante, Dave, Patrick.
yes, Dante, Andy Kotska,
The whole state of Maryland, Virginia,
All DCI.
DC.
and if I forgot you, DC Irons, if I forgot one of you,
Toronto Hammers as well, you guys.
I'll apologize. I'm sure I forgot someone.
Yeah, this was Darren. Yeah, everyone. This was so much fun.
Catherine, and her brother Alex.
Mhm.
Shout out to all of you.
And so, going forward on this show, we want to have more people, more guests, different hosts. And this would be fun. We could make this in so many fun ways. So if you have any ideas, please leave some comments for new ways of doing this, or how we can improve, or different formats, or new ideas, anything. This was really fun. Thank you so much, guys. I had a fun time, and I can't wait to do it again with you.
And thank you to everyone in the chat that watched us. We see y'all.
Mile high.
We'll interact next time. This is just
Well, we
could-
interacted in a manner of speaking. All right.
we can do better.
Come on, you Irons. DC
All right, come on,
Irons.
Irons.
We love you. Hope you enjoyed the show. See you next Saturday.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.